Hi, Kerry here, and welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel if it's your first time. You are watching Christchurch Review of Books. It's where I review books mainly, as the title kind of suggests, and we do talk about a few other things from time to time. And I haven't made a video for about a month now, and the reason behind that is in the final days of June, I actually contracted COVID-19. The initial symptoms were fairly mild, just felt like coming down with a heavy cold, but it really kicked me in the arse when it came to the lack of energy for the following couple of weeks. I just couldn't bring myself to do much for it, and by like midday I was wanting to go back to bed, and I was going to bed early for a couple of weeks there. And one of the things that I did manage to do during that time was read this book, David Sedaris' Happy-Go-Lucky. Now this is his latest collection of essays and tales, most of them collected from things he's published elsewhere in the recent months. Now I've been a fan of David Sedaris since about 2017. I was a bit of a late comer to his work, and I've really enjoyed it so far. So it does pain me a bit to say that I felt this wasn't really his best effort. It's the first book by him that I've been kind of disappointed in. Or anyway, as I wrote yesterday in the written version of this review, I'm not sure if it was the effects of COVID on me, but I just felt a bit down on this book. Anyway, so he starts out very familiar work. In fact, it was so familiar I thought I was reading something I'd read before. It turns out a lot of the initial stories in this are kind of like expanded from his second collection of diary entries, that is Carnival Snackery. So if you've read that one, you'll find some very familiar stuff in the first half of this book. That kind of disappointed me to start with, and then we go back into tales about his seaside house in the USA, the C section, and his family, and that's the same kind of stuff that we've been through before as well, in Calypso and in his diaries. I just thought he could have branched out a little further from his family. I know they are a colourful bunch, and the sisters and what have you are quite entertaining characters by themselves, but I just felt it's getting a bit tired, and I don't know if it's because it had narrowed horizons because of COVID at this time, but you know, it just felt very, very stale to me. The big news about the seaside house is that it gets hit by a hurricane and they have to rebuild. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to feel pity for that a wealthy person losing a holiday home. Doesn't really ring true with me. But anyway, so then he does get into some more detailed stuff about his father. During the course of this book, his father dies, so we have quite a few essays about his relationship with his father before and after his death. That's quite touching. He's always had a prickly relationship with his father, sometimes love-hate type of thing going on. And so that was quite interesting to read, but immediately after that he writes a story where he seems to indicate that he's accusing his father of kind of something dubious, like molesting or something his children. I thought that was very out of place and didn't seem to fit in with the general tone of the book. I'm sure maybe it's something important to David Sedaris, but I'm not sure we should have been let in on his thinking on that type of thing. Maybe it was just me, my feelings at the time. And that leads me on to the chapters where he goes on about the COVID lockdowns where he was. He did come across as a bit of an old curmudgeon, a bit of a bore, a bit of a grumpy old fool. He was basically ignoring lockdown terms and conditions. He was inviting people over for dinner still and walking the streets and what have you. I know he wants to be seen as some type of a radical, I don't know, rule breaker or something, but he just sounded like a bitter old fool during that time, and that really disappointed me. There are some really good lighter moments in this book. He goes to a shooting range with his sister, and he's accounts of when he is able to travel, hotels and shopping and all that type of thing that you're used to from David Sedaris' books, and the stuff that really brings enjoyment. Um, and I'm not saying it's a bad book. I did laugh out loud at several sections. It just felt very stale, flat, or sober. It just wasn't what I was expecting from a David Sedaris book. Maybe, like I said, it was his narrowed horizons because of COVID, the pandemic, kept him close to home for all the time this book covers. Or I'm not really sure. It just didn't strike the right chord with me. So that is David Sedaris, Happy Go Lucky. It's been out for a couple of months now. If you're a fan, you'll probably enjoy it. Like I said, mainly half of the feeling that I had about this book may be because of the stuff I was going through myself. I just didn't click with me like some of his previous work. So that is Happy Go Lucky. All right, see you next time.